Yo, Andy, why are you always making me buy these stocks and all these investment things that I don't care about? Sometimes, I just want to make it rain on things that I'm actually interested in. This channel is so full of BS. Dislike, unsubbed. Hey guys, welcome back. So I realize some of you might be kind of bored of me talking about stocks and investments, so I think we're going to take a break. And a lot of you might misunderstand me when I say that you should put a lot of money into stocks and investments, and a lot of you think that, oh, that means I can't put money into anything else. Well, no, that's actually not the point that I wanted to make. My point is actually to try to get you to spend more money on your hobbies and interests and not less. And investments are just a way for you to accomplish that. But there are often things that in life that even before you achieve retiring early that you might want to spend some money on. So those are the things that I like to call money dials. So what a money dial is imagine if God or the chairman of the Fed, Jerome Powell, our Lord and Savior, drops out of the sky and gives you $10,000. You would probably take that money and spend it on whatever you like the most, right? So for some people, that might be, I don't know, modding cars, or for some people, that might be hookers and blackjack. I don't know what you like. So you just spend that money on whatever you like the most, right? So that thing is called a money dial. The idea is that if you had money, you just crank it up like a dial, right? Crank it all the way up to 11. Just go crazy with it, go to town on it. So yeah, we're gonna explore the concept of a money dial and some things that I think are money dials in my life besides stocks and investments. So we're not gonna talk about investing today at all. We're just gonna talk about some things that I find really helpful and really valuable that I would spend a lot of money on that doesn't include anything to do with investments. But before we jump in, you guys know what time it is? That's right, quarantine means. Let's go. Last time on the waste management Bill Gates video, one of you mentioned that the coffee level didn't go down for the entire video. I guess I got too into waste management to drink this coffee. I forgot. I mean, who knew one could get so passionate about waste management, right? I guess I'm an oddball. Anyways, hope you like the quarantine memes. Without further ado, let's jump into the things that I would spend a lot of money on that doesn't involve stocks. And the number one thing is smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. I'm sorry guys, I had to do that. But seriously though, smash that like button. But anyways, the first thing that I would spend a lot of money on is electronics. Now, why did I pick electronics? Well, I think, have you ever had one of those situations where your computer is just slow or you have a bad phone and it's just everything is just not working and it's just slow and it just costs you so much time and so much frustration, right? And I think that something like a computer or a smartphone is things that we use every single day, and it's not really worth it for you to cheap out on those things. It's much better in the long term for you to just pony up the money and get a really good computer or get a really good phone and never have to worry about your computer being slow or something on your computer not working and things like that. And that really costs you a lot of negative effects on your mental health because you're frustrated and you're just it ruins your whole day, right? I'm sure you guys know what it's like to deal with a slow computer or a slow phone. For example, for me, I have the Lenovo ThinkPad E585. Now, this is not a sponsorship, by the way. I wish Lenovo would pay me to say this. Lenovo, if you're listening, hit me up. But I think that this is a really good computer, and yeah, it's nice and durable. It has a big battery, and it has the latest gen Ryzen processor. And overall, it's just a very good computer that has never had any major issues for me, besides maybe a few blue screens here and there. But that's really Microsoft's fault. And but yeah, anyways. So as you can see, I also have a Mac Mini. And that Mac Mini actually is from 2012. And I just upgraded it and swapped it with an SSD because the spinning hard drive was just super slow, and it was just costing me a lot of time and frustration. So I had to swap out the hard drive for an SSD. And yeah, all in all, I spent about $300. I bought it used. I spent about $300 on the computer itself, and I spent another $50 on an SSD. So all in all, I'm $350 into this computer. And as you can see, it's a really good computer and there's no issues with it, and it runs the latest macOS software, macOS Catalina. So I've been very happy with this purchase. But my point is, you don't have to even spend a lot of money necessarily, right? So as I said, I spent $350 on this computer and it's fine. And this laptop cost me about $1,000, which is significantly more expensive. But I think that's a small price to pay for not having to sit through any slowdowns or any issues. And it's just overall, it's been a great investment for me and my personal life. So yeah, anyways, that's number one. Now let's move on to number two. So for number two, I chose a mattress. Now, this might sound kind of weird, but if you think about it, you actually spend a third of your life sleeping. You spend a large proportion of your life sleeping, and it's really worth it for you to get a good night's sleep. It's so valuable. And if you ever had a bad nights of sleep, or if you ever went into work or went into school with little to no sleep, you know how it feels like, right? It ruins your entire day. So it's really important for you to have a good night's sleep in order for you to perform optimally the next day. And any people that are even relatively successful, they'll tell you the same story, right? They'll tell you how important sleep is. And it's really not worth it for you to cheap out and get a cheap mattress that will cause you back pain, will interrupt your sleep. Now, you don't have to go out and buy the most expensive mattress there is. I'm not saying that you should go out and buy just like a $4,000 mattress and just go into a store and buy the most expensive one you see. But if you want to spend a little bit more extra money on a good mattress that'll last you for a long time, maybe one of those Casper mattresses. I hear that they just had their IPO, and I hear that the company is really popular among millennials these days, and they got really good reviews. Not sponsored by Casper, by the way, just the first thing that came to my head when I thought of mattresses. But yeah, if you wanted to spend more money on, let's say, a Casper, that could be a good deal. Whatever enables you to get a good night's sleep, even if you have to spend a couple $1,000s, I say don't be afraid to spend that money. So that's number two. And now let's move on to number three. Number three is insurance. And now I know for some of you folks in America, you guys have to pay for health insurance, and that's a really big drain on your bank account. And I know for a lot of you, you look at your bank account being drained by your health insurance every month, and you're thinking, oh, if I could not pay for this, this will be great. I'm young, I'm healthy. Let's say you're like 20 years old or 30 years old. You're saying, oh, I'm young, I'm healthy. I wouldn't need this health insurance anyways. I'm just wasting my money. Well, no, you don't really want to cut back on your health insurance. I think it's really valuable to have good health insurance just in case something happens. So I've read story after story of people who have bad health insurance or have no health insurance, and then they get into an accident or something, and it just completely destroys them financially. They might get better from that accident, or they might get better from whatever illness that they needed to go to the hospital for, but their bank account is just completely destroyed just because they get hit with like a $50,000, $60,000 bill from the hospital. It's ridiculous. Even for us folks here in Canada who doesn't have to worry about that, you got to think of other things that we pay for insurance, right? So a big one that comes to my mind, and a big one that I pay for, is car insurance. So I drive, I have my own vehicle, and generally I'm a really safe driver, but if I were to get into an accident, then I would have to pay a lot of money to get the car fixed or something if I didn't have insurance on my own car. Now here in Ontario, it's actually illegal for you not to have any insurance. So you have to at least pay a little bit of insurance. But some people, they cheap out and they get the version of insurance that only covers other people's cars. Like if you get into an accident and you total your car is not covered itself. It only covers the other person's car. So that you might be safe from having to pay for that other person's car expenses and to get that other person's car fixed. But if you total your car, then you're out of luck, right? What if you need that car for work? Or what if you need that car to be able to generate a living? So for me, saving that extra, like, I don't know, 10, 20, 50, $100 a month isn't really worth it for the extra risk that you have to take by maybe potentially totaling your car in an accident and not having that covered at all. And now you're just out of like a $20,000, $30,000 vehicle. So there's other forms of insurance that I will not go through one by one just because there's too many. But if you're a little bit older, consider getting life insurance as well. Now, I know this is kind of morbid and people don't really want to talk about life insurance, but that's another thing that you might want to think about. And if you own a business, obviously you might want to have business insurance. So if someone sues you or something like that, you have enough money to pay for lawyers to defend yourself and things like that. So there's a bunch of different types of insurance for just about anything under the sun, and I'm not going to go through every single one of them, but I think you guys get the point. Now let's move on to last point, number 4, which is services. Now, this is kind of vague. What do I mean by services? So services could be pretty much anything that you pay for that really bring value to your life, right? So for example, it could be something like Netflix. And I know Netflix is not necessarily in need, but if you think about it this way, if you use Netflix a lot and it really brings a lot of value to your life, and let's say you're on the basic plan, for like maybe $5 extra a month, you can upgrade to the version with Ultra HD, and that'll make your viewing experience a lot better. If you spend, let's say, 10 hours, 20 hours, 30 hours a month watching Netflix, then it might be helpful for you to spend that extra $5 just to get the HD version because it's something that's so important to you, right? So I don't know what your habits are. You're just going to have to evaluate what works for you and what's the best option for you. But in my opinion, if you use something a lot and it only costs $5 or $10 extra per month for you to upgrade to the premium tier, then you should go ahead and do it. You shouldn't really cheap out on things like that because it's a small amount of money anyways. And if for that extra small amount of money, it can increase your happiness by a lot, then that's worth it. So another thing that comes to mind is data overages and data plans. So here in Canada, telecom companies suck, right? So we all hate all the telecom companies up here. So, unlimited plans aren't really a thing up here in Canada. And even for limited plans, you only get 5-6 gigabytes per month, which heavy users can easily burn through. And if you go through your data cap, then you'll have to pay by the megabyte for data, and that really sucks, right? So you get slapped with like $100 or even $1,000 bill at the end of the month accidentally just because you forgot that you went through your data cap and then you just kept on using your LTE on your phone, and then it just skyrockets your bill. But let's say if you can spend maybe $5, $10, $20 extra per month to upgrade to like an unlimited plan, or just increase your data cap by a large amount just so that you can have that extra breathing room, and let's say you're a heavy user of your phone data, then I think that's worth it just for the odd time that you might go over it, and for you to avoid having to pay that extra overage fee. And other things that comes to mind are maybe software productivity tools. I know I use Adobe Premiere to edit all these videos for you guys. So Adobe Premiere costs maybe $200 a year or something like that for me. So I think that for me that's worth it though, even though it's a big amount of money to pay up front. I think that having Adobe Suite is really helpful for me to be able to continue to edit these videos for you guys and put out high quality content. So that's a price that I'm willing to pay for Adobe Suite. But yeah, the point is any type of productivity tool or things that you need to either generate a living or be able to conduct your hobbies properly or be able to conduct your education properly, anything like that should be a money dial for you. Just crank it up. Spend a lot of money on those. You have the Andy seal of approval. So I think that about sums it up for money dials in my life besides stocks and investments. What are some of your money dials? Be sure to leave it down in the comments below. Be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I'll leave the links down below in the description as well. Make sure you give this video a like and consider subscribing if you like the series. With that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.